Yeah. So we'll check what happens when light falls on an object. So basically, suppose this is an object, this green thingy, and this is light, yellow one. So a part of light
Mm.
got a part of this incident light. Incident means the one which is falling on any object. It gets reflected. Reflecting means bouncing back. It hit the object and just bounce back. This is called reflected. And a part of it just transmit or pass through the object, that is called transmitted. And a part of the incident light got it just get absorbed by the object. So these are the three things that happen to the light which is falling on any object. And what are these process called? Reflection, which bounce back; transmission, which pass through the object; absorption, which is absorbed by the object. Okay. So reflection is the process of light bouncing off the surface of an object. Okay. Transmission is the process of light which get through the object. Absorption means light get absorbed by the object and it converted into heat. Okay. So there are different types of objects. Like some objects um, reflect most of the light, some transmit, some absorb. So opaque object means the one which are not transparent. Suppose wall. Okay. You cannot see through it. Opaque, right? Transparent means you can see through it. For example, um, like a plastic or white colored polythene. Okay. Transparent, or glass, right? And there is, so opaque object, they reflect some light falling on them. And transparent object transmit most of the light falling on them. And then there is translucent. It should be translucent. Okay. Translucent means the ones which are blur. You can see through these objects, but it is blur. Okay. Like some plastic boxes. Okay. Some which are very thin, so you can see through them, but it is blur. So they are called translucent. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, so translucent object, they undergo all three process. They reflect, they absorb, they transmit the light that falls on them. Yeah, it is opaque actually. Opaque objects absorb some light falling on them. So transparent, the one which are transparent, they transmit most of the light falling on them. And opaque, they just reflect some light falling on them. So let's understand reflection of light in detail. So reflection of light is a phenomena of bouncing back of light. Okay. So when it falls on the surface of an object, it is called the reflection of light. It is similar to bouncing of a ball which is thrown onto a wall. Like if you throw it to a ground, it will bounce back, right? This is this ball. So the same way, light, when it hit or fall on any surface, it bounce back, and that bouncing back is called reflection of light. Okay. So
Okay.
if
Can I write this down?
yeah, at the end I will allow you to write. Okay.
Okay.
The smoother and more polished the reflection of an object is, the more light it reflects. Um, like you can see the new utensils, these steel spoons and plates, they are very smooth, so they reflect more light. That's why you can see yourself, right? It works like a mirror. Like in, if there is a new spoon which is very smooth, you can see yourself. It's I mean, you shouldn't, because you look like a monkey if you see, but still you can see, right? Your nose looks like a very big, I mean, half of the face is covered with nose, but still, right? So when the objects are smoother and polished, they reflect most of the light. And more light an object reflect, the clear image of another object appears on its surface, right? Image means, like, if we see ourselves in mirror, we are not real one, right? That's our image. Similarly, in um, clear and smooth objects, they, because they reflect most of the light, that's why we can see our image. Mirror an object with polished and smooth surface like a tabletop, steel plate, spoon. They reflect most of the light that falls on their surface. and the reflection of an object on mirror is called an image of the object, right? Like I said, told you. Is this clear?
Yes.
Good. So these are the terms related to reflection. So the surface that reflect light is called reflecting surface. So any surface, for example, mirror, a ray of light that hits the reflecting surface is called incident ray. So you can see this light arrow is showing that it is hitting this mirror. So this is called incident ray, the one which is falling or hitting the object. Like here it is hitting the mirror. So this is incident ray, and the incident ray after it reflect from the surface, it is called reflected ray. So this is reflected ray which we represent with the help of arrow, and this point at which the incident hits the reflecting surface is called point of incidence. And normal is the perpendicular line on the mirror. This is normal. Normal means perpendicular line. So there is an angle of 90 degree between mirror and normal. Okay. So this incident ray and normal, the angle between these two, this angle is called angle of incidence. So this angle is angle of incidence, and the angle between this normal and this reflected ray, this is called angle of reflection, and we represent it with small r. An angle of incidence is represented with letter I. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these are the law of reflection. Law of reflection says that this angle, incident angle, is equal to reflected angle. Suppose this there is a ray coming on a mirror, and then it reflect back, so it makes 40-degree angle. So this angle with which this ray is bouncing back with normal, which is a perpendicular line at mirror, these two angle, if this is 40, this is going to be 40, if this is 30, this is going to be 30. So I, incidence angle and reflected angle, they are same. And incident ray, reflected ray, this ray, and normal, and this is called the point of incidence, they all lie in the same plane. This is the plane. Plane means which is made up of two dimensional or any flat surface. Okay, they are in the same plane. So these are the law of reflection which always hold true for any incident and reflected ray. Okay, these are important. Just remember this angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Okay, so you can see this is incidence ray, this is reflected ray, and this is normal which is perpendicular to this mirror. This is angle of incidence which is 60. That's why angle of reflection is also 60. So they are equal according to law of reflection. If this is 30, this should be 30. Okay. Like
Okay.
this is 45, so this is 45 according to law of reflection. Okay.
Okay. But what is this math?
Why there is math?
Yeah.
Math is all around you. You can find math and
What
without
about
math.
English?
About English, that's literature. In physical laws and around you.
What about my pen standing?
Yes, standing, because uh, there is a shape of a pen, right, which is called cylindrical shape, which we talk about in math. Shape, so it is related to math.
Okay, let's talk about my pen standing.
Pen standing.
Yeah, I'm sending you a picture right now.
Okay, so pen is making an angle with the plane where it is standing. So
Ta-da!
yeah, it is making a 90-degree angle with your table. So it's still there is math. So math is all around you. And even in English, I don't have much knowledge of literature, but the lines, the words, the one which are writer, they fix it according to the math. Like to make a rhythm and to make it rhyming, they fix the letters. There are some, there two line poetry, there is a specific name. For four line stanzas, there is a specific name, right? So it is also related to math, we can say that. So yeah. Now, what will be the case of angle of incidence 0 and 90? So you can see here, when the ray is directly coming from normal, it will reflect back to the same point. Why? Because this angle of incidence is this. If this is 90 degree, the angle of reflection is going to be 90. But in this case, actually this is 91. If angle of incidence is 90, angle of reflection is 90. Here it is coming on the same line, so angle is 0. Okay, and if angle of incidence is 0, angle of reflection is 0, because angle is made like this is angle. If this line, if I just put it on normal, the angle will become 0, right? Like this. And if I just move it here, this angle will become 90. This is 90 degrees, so this is also going to be 90. Okay, so an incident ray hitting the reflecting surface is said to be incident normally on the surface. Then there are different types of reflection. Mm, if there is a surface which is highly smooth like a mirror, so it makes image very sharp and clear. That's why we are able to see ourselves as it is in mirror, because mirror is very smooth. Okay, so this is how it makes. So these are the incident ray, and this is the reflected ray in case of highly smooth surface. This is called regular reflection. So when a beam of light, this is a beam of light which is incidenting on the surface of mirror, the reflected rays are also parallel to each other. You can see, right? All the reflected rays are parallel to each other, and this create a very clear and sharp image, like in case of mirror. This is called regular reflection. Okay, but if the surface is even slightly rough, like in case of a wooden table, the image is either not formed or it is very blurred. Okay, why? Because incident rays are parallel, you can see, but reflected rays, they are not parallel to each other, they just go in random direction, right? You can see these blue ones, these are reflected rays. So this type of reflection is called irregular reflection, and this is the reason behind blurred or no image, for example on the surface of wooden table. Okay, now the question is, how do we see objects? So when light from any luminous object falls on an object, like here you can see sunlight is falling on the flower, and it reflects off its surface in all directions. So you can see the flower is reflecting sunlight in all direction, and as a result of diffused reflection, some of this light reflect enter our eyes, and that's how we see objects. And this is um, the structure of our eye. So eye lens, um, this is the eye lens, this blue one. It focuses the light entering our eye onto a layer which lies at the back of the eye, and this is called retina, this orange part. And um, so here a real and inverted image of the object is formed, and the signal from the retina goes to our brain. This, because there are optic nerves, we know, you must have learned about nervous system, right? Our nerve sends signals to our brain, and then brain analyze what is happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So brain interpret them and shows us an upright image of the object, and that's how, like there is ice cream, we can say it. So first you can see this is upright, but image here formed is downwards, but our brain tell us that it analyze and it um, interpret and show us upright image. Okay, clear?
Okay.
Yeah. So what is reflection of light?